Great. Thank you, Madam Chair. And the first question will go to Mr. Charrier. And I came to the Senate just over 6 years ago, committed to cutting pork and working to remove unnecessary and burdensome regulations imposed on our farmers and rural economies. And I remain absolutely committed to that cause. Mr. Charrier, in your testimony, you mentioned the important role renewables play in SIPCO's generation portfolio. You also mentioned that system reliability depends upon the ability to back up intermittent wind and solar power with firm, flexible, and dispatchable capacity like coal and natural gas. Earlier this year, as part of the Biden administration's goal of achieving net zero emissions by 2050, current and former government officials released recommendations for how federal agencies can achieve this goal. This included developing plans for retiring fossil fuel burning power plants. Can you talk about the importance of ensuring that any plans to retire any baseload capacity needs to be done thoughtfully through incentives and not through overly burdensome regulation that could result in stranded assets and risk electric co-ops' ability to continue providing reliable, affordable energy to rural communities across the country?
Thank you, Senator Ernst. I'd like to say that we've made tremendous progress with the use of incentives and allowing the economics and reliability to drive the generation decisions. That's been critical for the utilities. And we can see what the incentives have actually done with SIPCO getting up to nearly 40% this year on renewables, and we're already adding tremendous amounts of wind and solar in the next couple of years as a result of those incentives. But we do need gas, coal, and nuclear. We saw earlier this year in the polar vortex when we had several states that were rolling blackouts and total blackouts when plants weren't available. So diverse generation's critical. And SIPCO and in the Midwest Independent System Operations, fossil plants really brought the power there that we needed and did it economically. We saw gas prices go very, very high, and all the coal plants that were available were running. So that is a critical element of this. We've seen some of the comments on keeping it affordable. So using the transition with incentives is by far the best way to do it, and allowing the utilities to actually make the economic and reliability decisions. And we're already seeing fossil plants, many coal plants being shuttered and closed simply because the economics are driving it. And we're seeing a major transition in this country. The incentives, and we've seen the cost of renewables come down considerably, but the incentives will drive it that much quicker.
Very good. Thank you so much. And Mr. Mancuso, partnerships are really important in rural America. And could you please talk generally about how wind developers in Iowa partner with farmers and other landowners on the siting of wind farms, and how this can serve as an additional revenue source for our agriculture producers?
Sure. Thank you, Senator Ernst. Actually, in my written testimony, I mentioned around in 2020, there was $30 million that were given to land leases for the wind turbines just in Iowa. Now that's supposed to grow to over 45 million in the next few years. So these farmers can obviously have less financial stress, and these farmers can more efficiently farm their land. What I mean by that is that they can purchase new and more modern equipment, and then obviously not have that financial burden because of those land leases that those wind turbines have. So obviously right now it's a very precarious time for farmers and ranchers with the recent volatile markets, and I know the individuals who have land leases for wind turbines have kind of weathered that storm a little better than, let's say, individuals who have not, or farmers who have not. So so lease payments can be kind of differing, and cost or and then the amounts that you receive. But even if you have 4 or 5 on it, wind turbines on your land, it will be very beneficial for a farmer. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And in one of my 99 county tours in Iowa, in northwest Iowa, very sparsely populated, it was brought to my attention that the wind turbines on a number of these properties, actually the taxes drawn from those wind turbines enabled that very small rural school district to remain in place. That's one thing as well. Just one of those secondary and tertiary benefits of having these wind turbines in our most rural areas. A lot of our school districts face declining enrollment, and the added benefit of those dollars in the community is very, very helpful. So thank you to the witnesses. I appreciate it.